Hello everybody and welcome to Chemistry 111. During this video what I will do is I will be explaining the syllabus. So hopefully this will give you a better understanding about the course expectations. I will also go through some housekeeping tips to help us all remain in line for the course, for the class requirements, and try to meet all the objectives of the course by the time we finish, hopefully in December. Okay, first of all, my name is Abdullah Al Samarai. I'll be your instructor for the class for both the lab as well as the lecture. You can call me Professor Abdullah, you can call me Professor Al Samarai. Either one is fine with me. For the lecture, as I'm assuming that everybody know at this point that the lecture will be done virtually. What that means, it will be posted on the Blackboard through videos that I expect everybody to try to watch, or actually not even try, watch, which would help you greatly understanding the units material. So I will also go through the Blackboard shortly to try to explain how to navigate on the Blackboard and how to access all the course material. Hopefully that would make it easier. Okay, but lecture will be done via video on top of the lecture notes that will be also posted. The lab, however, we will be meeting in person, and that will be happening once a week on Tuesdays from 7 to 9:50 p.m. That would be in room North 424 in the Gateway Community College campus. Okay, to the left hand side, this is my email. You can reach out to me with any questions, after you listen to this video, or even after I make all the materials available. Just never hesitate, always try to reach out. The only thing I would say regarding the email is please, when you are typing my email, make sure that you are writing number 1 here. Because there is another person on campus with the same last name as mine. So just to make sure that you are directing your email to the right contact and not sending it to the wrong person. Okay, so just pay attention, please, when you're typing my email. Okay, so the textbook, which is again one of the probably questions that everybody has, the textbook is not a required material for the course, because I believe between the slides that you will have for the units, in addition to the videos that I will be posting, I think you will have plenty of material to explain and hopefully clarify things and concepts if you have any questions. I think the book might be a little bit overwhelming if you include that, but it's still, with that being said, if anybody is interested to go deeper in understanding certain concepts, by all means, this is the title of the book right here. Okay, and it will be available for free. So if you click on this link here, this will take you directly to the book so you can access it. The lab attendance is mandatory, so I do expect everybody to attend the lab every week. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a chance to do any makeups for the lab, so if you miss a lab, if you miss a lab report, that would be it essentially. For the required materials, on the other hand, the lab manual, it is a required resource that I expect everybody to have on themselves on the first day of the lab. So our first lab that we will actually be doing some experiments is the Tuesday that falls after the Labor Day holiday. So you still have plenty of time to go to the bookstore at Gateway Community College and try to obtain your copy for the lab manual. So I highly encourage everyone to please go to the bookstore as soon as possible and try to get your copy of the lab manual. I know copies sometimes run out very quick because there are different sections for the concepts of chemistry. So the sooner that you go there, the better it is. Now, the lab reports that you will be submitting, you will need the lab manual in order to get the blank sheets to submit your data for the experiments that you will be doing. So you will need the lab manual on the first day. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to submit your lab report. The code for active chemistry is also a requirement for this, because active chemistry is a platform that we'll be using to submit our homework assignments as well as one of our take-home exams. So I will have on a Blackboard instructions on how to log into active chemistry and how to set up your own account. And I know it's a paid subscription. I think I'll get a week free trial, but then later I'll have to pay. It's something. I don't think. I think it's. I don't expect it to be significant fees to subscribe to this service. But everybody is expected to have an active chemistry account. Scientific calculator, which we will need it in the lab as well as during doing our tests. So please have your own, with you in the lab, and as well as the exams. And lastly is the lab goggle, and again that's for safety. So please have your lab goggle with you when you come to the lab. Now, for special needs, if any student feels that they may need special adjustments, please contact the Office of Student Disability Services at 203-285-2231, or you can simply just go to room S202. I believe you'll have to fill in some documentations, and then they will reach out to me. In the meantime, if you want to come over and just talk to me in person, I'm more than happy to listen, and I'll try to do my best to accommodate your request. For the evaluation of understanding, or how the final grade is calculated, 30% of the 30% of the final grade will be coming from the homework assignments. So for every unit that we will be doing and every week, I will be posting on active chemistry the prospective homework assignments. So please try to submit those on time, and you will see the due date on every post that I do on active chemistry. So please try to submit it on time. 20% will be coming from the lab report and lab quizzes. And lastly, 50% will be coming from the exams that we will be doing. So in total, we'll be doing 5 tests through the course that will cover the entire units that we will be going through. And I'll explain the mechanism how the exams grades are calculated. Okay, so this should add up to 100% total. What I'm adding here as a bonus point is the free topic. So this will be done on the discussion board on Blackboard. And again, this is not a requirement unless if you are interested in taking advantage of 5 bonus points that goes to the final grade. So that's kind of like a pretty big deal. And it's honestly, it's a very easy assignment. I have a couple articles, interesting articles, something related to chemistry, and kind of relates also to some life events, maybe some environmental crisis that is happening around us. And I hope that you will find this interesting enough to either watch or read. But again, I promise you this is not going to consume a lot of times. And the questions that I have, it's very simple and straightforward. Okay, so if you want to take advantage of this, the 5 points, the five points for the free topic, please have at it. I will throughout the course, I will offer opportunities to take bonus points, either before the test, any of my tests, or even during the submitting the lab reports. I encourage everybody to please take advantage of this, because at the end of the day, every single point will count when it comes to calculating final grade. Okay. So in terms of the exams, we are doing 5 exams on total. 4 exams that will cover the units throughout the course, and then we'll have a final exam that will cover everything that we have gone through from Unit 1 all the way to Unit 11. I know that might sound a little bit overwhelming, but I promise you, once we get closer to the final, it's not as terrifying as it may sound. Okay. The exams will not cover the lab materials. The lab materials will only be addressed during submitting your lab report, so that's not something you need to worry about. The exams normally are done via either short answers or fill in the blank or problem-solving questions. I try to make it short and brief. In many times, we will be doing the tests, and then after that, we will be doing the lab for the day. So I try to consider that when I design my exams. So the way the exams are grade is calculated, and I try to do it in a way to give advantage to my students. We are doing exams, 4 exams, as I said, and the final, which is a cumulative. So the grades for the exams are calculated as follows. So let's say In the first exam, your grade is 85. In the second exam, your grade is 75. In the third is 65. Things didn't go too well. Okay. In the fourth exam, you did well and you got 90 points. And in the final, you did even better and you get 95. So the way that I calculate the total grades for the 50% in the final grade breakdown, I look at your four exams and I find the lowest grade. And in this case is the 65. And I would use the 95 in the final to substitute this one. So your grades essentially will be 85, 75, 95, 90, and 95. So your final grade, if it is higher than any of your grades in exams 1 through 4, will basically trump that one and just substitute it. Okay, so that's basically the case. Also, in case if you miss one of those exams. Okay, so let's say that on exam 2 or on exam 3 you had a family emergency or you're not feeling well, and you don't show up for the test, and your grade evidently will be 0. So if you do well in the final, that 0 can be wiped out and will be substituted with the final grade, which takes me to the next point here about makeup exams. It's very difficult, and I'll be honest with everybody, it's very difficult to make makeup exams because I'm not on campus all the time. If I have to, of course, I'll try to do a makeup exam, especially if it is an extenuating circumstances, and I will ask for documentation. But generally, makeup exams are not easy. Homeworks, as I said, will be done via active chemistry. I don't need to go over this. Same thing with the lab grades will be 3 points from the pre-lab quiz and 17 points from the lab report. Okay. And the pre-lab quiz will be posted at least several days before the lab for that day, and you are expected to submit your answers to the quiz before coming to the lab for that day. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that you at least have a basic knowledge of what you're about to work on in the lab for that week. Okay, so this is how the final grade is calculated. Now down below, I'm not gonna go crazy through this, spend a lot of minutes here in the video, but this is essentially a tentative schedule for our plan, for our course plan. Okay, so we are going to start with Unit 1, Introduction of Chemistry, and then once we get to September 26th, that would be our first exam. Will be done in person, so will be Unit 1 through Unit 4. We'll talk about the exams once we get closer to the due date of those exams. So I don't want to spend extensive amount of time discussing tests just yet. And then we'll do exam 2, which will cover Unit 5 and Unit 6, and this will be a take-home, so you'll do that on active chemistry. And then for exam 3, we'll do 7, 8, and 9, and that will be done in person. That's on Tuesday, on the 31st, which is apparently Halloween. I'm just seeing this now. So will be a nice Halloween evening, I'm guessing. So once exam 3 is completed, we are basically almost done with the course. We only have Unit 10 left and Unit 11. So at Unit 10, we are going to study the electron. We'll look into the electron properties, the mass, the speed of electron. And then we will move along to Unit 11, which we will be studying the molecular structure in a 3D in a three-dimensional perspective. Once we finish Unit 10 and Unit 11, that will be time for Thanksgiving break. So we're not going to have Exam 4 until we return from the Thanksgiving break. And Exam 4 will be done in person, and it will cover Unit 10 and Unit 11. After that, we'll have just one more week before the final comes in, and that week will be the reading week. So there will be no lecture posted online because obviously we've covered everything at that point, hopefully. And we're not going to have a lab as well. I will be available, however, if anybody has any question prior to the final, you can reach out to me via email. I'm not going to be available in person on campus, but I will be available, as I mentioned, online via email, or if it is something that I feel it is necessary to meet in person, I can schedule a Zoom call that we can meet online and try to explain things in a more one-to-one format. Okay. The final is going to be on the 12th of December. And again, I want to stress this one more time. It is going to be mandatory, and I expect everybody to come in. Okay. The learning outcome, I mean, at the end of the course, I do expect everybody to really carry on the basics for the things that we covered, including the the atomic structure first, the chemical properties of the elements from the periodic table, the chemical bonding, ionic and covalent bonding, and how both are different from each other, doing the basic calculations in terms of doing unit conversions. So you know how to convert between milligrams to grams, from milliliters to liter, how to use the SI system and the significant figure um, tool to express larger quantities, etc. For the lab, again, the basics, how you are capable of being in a lab and behave in a safe manner, how to use the resources and the equipment in the lab in a way that help you execute your experiment efficiently, and also to be able to do basic graphs and tables. We will be doing some sketches, I think in one or two labs. So nothing crazy. I think that's everything covers for the syllabus. Please listen to the video carefully. Read it one more time. If you have any question, email me immediately, and I would be happy to answer any concerns.